We have other fun stuff to get to today. But I wanted to start with something very fun, which is the reputational harm that the troll stuff had on the H3 show. Now, I don't know this person. Someone else maybe who goes on TikTok, maybe people who go on TikTok know this person, but their name is Talking to Tequila, and I guess they were like an H3 show enjoyer or something, and like they were a defender or something. I don't go on TikTok, so I don't know anything about this shit. But they made this statement, and I wanted to watch it with you guys.
I'm gonna try to be as clear and concise as I can. I've started this video like 7 or 8 times, but I need to just speak from my heart, and hopefully the people that get it. I no longer watch H3. I'm no longer a fan of Ethan. And I am making this video for one reason. It's not for a pile-on. It is specifically for the reason that people follow me. Some people follow me or meant me from being a fan of the H3 podcast and the H3 community. So for me,
sorry, I'm like clearing these tabs.
Some people think of my account,
okay,
there is a part of them that also thinks like, oh, she's an H3 fan. Like, oh yeah, Talking to Tequila, she's an H3 fan. My whole page isn't about that, but I used to make funny videos about it. Sometimes videos defending Ethan, etc., etc. The recent stuff that has come out, and this is one of the reasons it was hard for me to make this video.
You know the saddest, oh my God. You know the saddest thing about this? She's putting in all this effort to try and be as honest as possible and as genuine as possible and not be misconstrued. And I guarantee you, give it like a couple days and they're going to start calling her a snarker.
His snark account on Reddit, I don't find funny. I don't find clever. I don't find cheeky. I don't find entertaining at all. And so for me, it's important for me to make a clear distinction that I don't follow the H3 podcast anymore, because I don't want to be associated with, I don't want to be associated as a fan of someone who thinks that those kind of jokes are funny. Now, another reason I found it hard to make this video is because I know that there's going to be some people that are like, so you just stopped being an H3 fan? Call me naive, call me gullible, call me optimistic. I really do believe, you know, when Ethan says,
I love this video because it shows men what it's like to have a fellow female friend be totally delulu.
This sounds hot. Oh, I'm gonna fuck him.
Because I feel like male delulu and female delulu present differently. Like male delulu is like, oh, I'm not gonna talk about this anymore. All right, moving on. And it's like, and that's it. That's the whole conversation. You're like, boring, boo, right? What the fuck is a delulu? It's like a fun way of saying delusional. Delulu. My best friend through 30 years might end our friendship because I'm gay. That's male delulu. That's a form of delulu based in weird homophobia. But anyways, girl delulu. It's like, it takes them 5 to 30 minutes to explain to you a position that makes no sense. And don't worry, to be clear, I put myself in this category as well. Like, all right, everybody's had their moments, all right? Everyone's had their moments. And in the moment, you're thinking about it, you're like, I can't say that because that makes no sense. I can't say that either because that makes no sense. I can't say that either because that makes no sense. And you're sitting there thinking of like the exact order of words to say to make it make a little sense, just like the very bare minimum amount of sense. And that's what's happening right here.
Associated as a fan of someone who thinks that those kind of jokes are funny. Now, another reason I found it hard to make this video is because I know that there's going to be some people that are like, so you just stopped being an H3 fan? Call me naive, call me gullible, call me optimistic. I really do believe, you know, when Ethan says, I do believe that that Ethan cares about what's happening in
Do you see the Delulu on display? I believe he cares.
Palestine. I also have throughout the months found it incredibly frustrating that as the atrocities in Palestine get worse and worse and worse,
Oh, girl, please.
I've been a supporter of Free Palestine, and I believed that Ethan
Hassan's hot. I'm gonna fuck him.
did. Sorry, this is like harder than I thought because of Palestine.
Oh, God. Oh, dude. Oh, fuck, man.
Stuff is upsetting me. I believe that he.
That's okay. So some people in chat, if you never had a female friend be Delulu, you're missing the forest for the trees here. It's not that she has a strong attachment to an online creator. It's not that that it's hard for her to lie. That's not what's happening here. What's happening here is very simple. Okay? Not she's just stupid, wrong. Also wrong. What's happening here is very simple. It's sunk cost fallacy. She spent all this time defending him to herself that now having to deal with, wait, how long was it like this? Is very difficult. She's working through this shit in real time. Dude, exactly. It's sunk cost cope. Exactly. Because it's not having, I see one chat message. I can't imagine giving this amount of fucks for a streamer / public personality. That's not what's happening here. Because those people just like never, ever, ever give up. And when they do, they just drop them silently, right? It's like, it's more of, I can't believe I defended this person. Like, I can't believe I fell for this for so long. It's stages of grief with yourself.
Is disturbed by what's happening there, but I've also become increasingly frustrated as it continues to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And what's happening in this country continues to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I find it frustrating that like the apartment building seems to be on fire. And, you know, like he's focusing on his house, which I get, right? Like you feel attacked or you feel victimized. I understand that. But it's like the apartment building with like 60 units is on fire. I know that that's a bad analogy. But I guess I wanted to make this because in a lot of the different controversies he's had, I've always given him the benefit of the doubt. But there are things that happened that I just started to feel like when it was like, well, Hila's never even been like in the field or whatever. And then it's like, well, actually once she was. And that's their experience. But I felt like a little loss of trust. And then it's like all this shit's happening, like Palestine. There was a video of a girl in Palestine, like running through a fire. and like you could see her little like 5-year-old body like running through the fire. And then like that week we're just like, the podcast is just like talking about like your lawsuits or like, and I'm just like, oh my god, like they're burning kids to death. Like it's, so I was frustrated with, I guess it's his show and it's his podcast. He can do whatever he wants, but this is such a fucking disaster. Sorry, I'm just trying to speak from my heart. Sorry, the Palestine stuff started to upset me. Sorry. I was already starting to feel a little resentful and a little frustrated with the focus on a lot of the shows, and it's his show, so he can do whatever he wants. And again, I was still giving grace, believing, you know, his true heart in a lot of these matters, but it was like chipping away, and then his Reddit troll account came out, and I just felt, you know, and I know people are gonna dog on me for this, but this is how I felt. I was like, it's so hard to find like a male entertainer who's like not a creep or not a freak or not a or
Then you find troll.
not, you know, a predator, or not, you know, fucking disgusting, or not co-signing predators, and or not thinking really crude things, or like, oh, things have slowly started chipping away. I thought the Boston video was really, really disgusting. And it's like, then you go, like, you there's an apology, and I go, okay, well, I guess people change, people grow, but then it's just like one thing after another, and then this Reddit account, it's just like, no part of me, there's no part of me that can give grace to that. Like, there's no part of me that is willing to say, you know, like, I'm a fan of that, or I am okay with those jokes. I don't care how old they are. So I'm rambling, but
I think what matters more is how old you are when you're making those jokes. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I give 16-year-olds, like, if you're 16 or under, I give a lot of charitability, okay? You're you got no idea what's happening when you're 16. The shit you say, you have no idea about the words that are coming out of your mouth and the order that they're coming out. You're barely fucking breathing, okay? Your brain is cooking nothing. Like, words don't hold a lot of value to me when it comes to teenagers. All right? They just haven't even fucking developed empathy yet. So that's not an actual, like, child psychology. I'm making a joke, for the love of God. All right? You just don't have any life experiences. You don't understand how, like, the extent which you can cause harm to other people. Like, I think at 16 you'll understand actions. Like, you know that you shouldn't hit people, right? You know that you shouldn't put your hands on other people, right? But words still feel kind of magical, and they're like, oh, you know, like, who cares? You know, you can say whatever you want. Like, why does it matter? So, like, you know, and this is coming from someone sitting there fucking reading like essays on Tumblr, and like, I was so fucking woke. I was the wokest wokey in high school. And I saw the people around me, and I was like, damn, really? I'm the woke one? Really? And like seeing that shit, and then seeing people like grow up around you, and you're like, oh, it's just like a matter of like life experiences, right? It's just a matter of like growing up and realizing how you hurt people, impact people, you know, whatever. When you're like mid, late 20s, and you're saying, and you have a fucking account called troll. and then you don't apologize for having it. And then you say you have nothing to hide, and then you delete all of the messages and all the comments and all the posts. How do you think that's gonna sit with your fucking audience, dude? Come on.
I made this video because I know that there are people who associate me with have been being a fan of that podcast. I want to say I am no longer, because
Also, someone in chat said, describe this as like your friend leaving an abusive relationship, and that's the exact vibe that I get, where it's like, it's not you coming to terms or like stopping being so attached to somebody or whatever. It's coming to terms with the fact that like you were tricked, that you, in the goodness of your heart, wanted to believe that this person wouldn't blatantly lie to you, and that your naivete led you astray. Like, it's more of a frustration with the self than it is anything else. The why did you stay feeling? Exactly, yeah. And so, like, I think, like, the most obscene thing is, like, what I think rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and I think what really fucked the H3 show over really hardcore is they only ever spoke about Israel-Palestine, but if they could bring on someone who was pro-Israel, or bring on someone who correctly challenged Israel in the proper ways without being too mean, and also saying that the problem is really quite complicated. Like that one guy they brought on, Ahmed El-Katoub or something, I think what was his name. And like, what does he say? He only talks about how evil Hamas is. And he's like, yeah, and Israel has some stuff that they need to work through too. It's like, no, dude, this is not a two-sided conflict. There's one side that can end this conflict now. Get deep. Okay. And so like, I think that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And a lot of people saw that shit and were like, dude, this is not, you guys dedicate so much time to like fighting people who are talking about Palestine the wrong way, but you don't actually end up ever spending any time talking about Palestine or talking about the Palestinians, and you just say like, well, Israel does bad stuff. Yeah, of course. And that's it. Like, effectively, that's just like hand waving the actions of Israel by just briefly bringing them up and then immediately giving up on them. Like, what? It's kind of like the people who, when you criticize cops, are like, listen, yeah, some cops are bad. It's like, sounds like you're just hand waving all the terrible shit that police precincts are up to so that you can continue to defend the status quo.
I'm not comfortable being associated with those kind of, I'm not comfortable with it anymore.
Apologia.
I don't agree with it. I don't think the jokes are funny. I wish the energy that was put into all of this online beef, and that's why I don't want this to be a pylon. It's not about that. I wish all this energy was put into like helping these people that are just like fucking literally suffering like horrifically. And it's just like dumb shit about online beef, and I just can't take it. I think I wrote down stuff because I wanted to make sure. I always found it very frustrating when people announce their departure. I'm like, this is an airport. The only reason I'm making this is because
this is an airport.
I am a content creator, and so people associate my account with certain like things I'm a fan of or certain things I like to do. So I think it's important that I am clear with where I stand on things. I don't know. I think I said what I needed to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Girl is very clearly very self-absorbed. Huh? I didn't get that vibe at all. I didn't get that vibe. It's not a TikTok video without it ending with the most obscene noise possible. But it wasn't succinct, but it means it's a 10-minute video, right? But she wasn't attempting to be succinct. Or she wasn't attempting to make like a 1-2 minute video, because then it wouldn't end up being 10 minutes. But anyways, here's my perspective, chat. I think when you're on the left, honestly, just a general rule of thumb as a person, you should encourage behavior you want to see more of. Okay? That's how you get what you want. You discourage behavior that you don't like, and you encourage behavior that you do like. and snark-seeking missiles on their way to her location. Stop. And the way that I see this is like, the more encouragement we give these people, the better off we'll be, in my opinion. I just think you should encourage behavior you want to see more of. And that's how I feel about this. Where it's like, yeah, it sucks that it took you so long, and like, yeah, it shouldn't take you this long, but like, this is true. This is how I interact with my cat. I mean, I think this is how you should interact with people around you also. I will never not support people like her saying she was wrong. Also, yeah. Why would Hassan personally do this? Trying to think of a good example on like a person-to-person basis. I can't think of anything really good, but I can tell you, you know, when you come out of your room and then your family's like, look who decided to show up. It's like, you have just convinced me to never show up ever again. It's like doing the opposite of that. Like, you should encourage behavior you want from the people around you, and you should discourage behavior that you don't want. Do you understand what I'm talking about, chat? I'm trying to think of a way to encourage behavior, or like, it doesn't have to be like malicious or anything like that. Like, even something as simple as like saying thank you for things, or saying that you appreciate something. Basic human communication is what I'm talking about, okay? Basic human communication is what I'm talking about. Rewarding the bare minimum does make sure that the bare minimum happens more often. Often it means ignoring bad behavior and giving attention when the person does right. No, you shouldn't ignore bad behavior. You should be discouraging that behavior. Well, like one small example, right? When I go over to a friend's place and they like ask me if I want water, and they give me water, I say thank you, and I tell them how much I appreciate that they do that. Because I really like when they do that, and it makes me feel at home when they do that. And I want them to know that I appreciate it, because I want them to do that more. Again, there's no manipulation there happening. There's just like you communicating how you feel about something. But we can also apply that practice here, where it's like, okay, I want more of this. Great job. Happy for you, queen. That's normal to say thank you. Oh, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying like, I have also said separately, by the way, every time you offer me water, I really appreciate it. Okay. I feel very at home, and I am always thirsty, and I do always get too nervous to ask for water. So I do appreciate that you do that. Makes your home really a pleasant experience to be in. And I feel like you're a very good host. Like, I'm talking about going the extra mile to communicate that. And that's like, again, that's just like a small example. Small example. It doesn't have to be malicious. We are very good at discouraging bad behavior. I feel like everyone in here knows how to discourage the bad behavior, which is socially naming and shaming, right? Like pulling up a chatter and reading their fucking username and being like, you're a fucking idiot. And then closing, banning, whatever. But I feel like we could all get better at the positive reinforcing. And the cool thing about positive reinforcement is like, most of the time you can just say how you feel, that you appreciate that people are doing something. As the host of this stream, I am to ask chat if they want water. Shut up. Shut the fuck up, okay? Stop. Silence. Silence. Have you said please even once? Have you? Have you said please and thank you even once, Mr. Zansky? Have you?
My best friend. You are the rent payer. You are the legend. Thank you, Ethan Klein. You are my best friend. You are the rent payer. You are the legend.